Sorry if I'm not very talkative. I don't want to keep my sibling awake. They're not feeling too great, so I'm going to try and keep my voice down. I'm also going to be heading to work today at 6 p.m., so I don't have very long to play on this. And I'm not going to play it the entire afternoon or morning, whatever this will be. also doing construction behind me. What I'm building at the moment is actually the storehouse slash oil house. This is where you would have the early fuel for the lighthouse beacon, which would have been either kerosene or, unfortunately, in the real early days of lighthouses, whale oil. Though these are meant to be like kerosene or propane drums, or, well, no kerosene, because, yeah, kerosene would have been used later. First time I've also done like a proper sloped roof design for a house where I haven't curved it in on all four ends. Let's see here. Very small attic space. And this is meant to keep the room ventilated. In fact, I may actually add a trap door in the ceiling just so there's a way to vent the fumes out. And I'm assuming this would be brick because it would make perfect sense, you know? Given that you're dealing with flammable stuff like kerosene or oil, well, you don't want your storehouse burning down. Hence why there's very little wood in the actual structure. There we go. Since hot air and most vapors rise, I figured why not? So that's the storehouse. Now the keeper's house is what I want to build next. Since these homes would normally have the keeper's entire family living there, well, yeah. I think I'm going to go with birch, since that is the more prevalent wood here on this peninsula. So I'm going to do a raised brick foundation. Okay, I think you'll see what I'm doing in a moment. You'll get what I'm doing in a moment. Alright, so there's the foundation. Just for added realism, I'm gonna actually build the full foundation blocks. There we go. Okay, let's see here. There we go. This. Gonna get there we go, spruce planking. Let's see. Yeah, I think I got an idea of how I want to do this now. Because this home is going to have to be a 2-story house. And if you're curious if I'm going to include a kitchen, the answer is yes, but not in the way you'll think. See, this home, the one on Tybee, would have originally had a summer kitchen. That was a summer kitchen being a kitchen that was built away from the actual home, so that if, God forbid, you had a cooking fire, you'd only lose the kitchen building, but not the whole house. Okay, let me see. Okay. Let me see. I'm going to go into VC2 on my Discord just in case. There we go. Let me see here. Why am I trying to look up pictures of Tybee Island Light when I have them in my own Google Drive? Lord have mercy. Photos, Series 8. There we go. This is one reason it helps to be a photographer, because you're able to get reference photos that most people otherwise wouldn't know to get. I think that's one reason I drive the people on High Iron so crazy, is because, oh Lord, I'm scatterbrained. I think that's one reason I end up driving everybody on High Iron so crazy. It's because since a lot of my photography focuses on small details, architecture, railroad stuff, and just general stuff that they would normally be trying to model, I've just got a backlog of material that I want to send all at once. The trouble is, it's enough to drive people crazy, you know what I mean? And I know that's something that a lot of people don't like. I don't mean to overwhelm them with everything I send, and I'm not expecting everything I send to actually get modeled. I'm just putting it there so that, they'll have it to look at later, Or, so they have something they can consider when, modeling, say, a new town or something like that, That's, and I guess the other reason I try to send them so much of this stuff is because I know a lot of it will probably disappear in my lifetime. So if it could be preserved digitally, then, why not preserve it? At least, the external appearance, That's one reason I try to photograph buildings the way I do, is so that I can, come up with something. Like, for instance, in High Iron, I want to try and do a map that shows a little bit of Georgia, at least in terms of drawing it out. I can't model it in Roblox, but I can try to draw it out. The problem is getting the scaling right for where buildings and stuff go, because on this computer, you only have a limited canvas size, so it's very difficult to get everything I'd like to get and put in, you know? But I've got enough photos of railroad towns that I have a lot to choose from in terms of what to add and what to let go of. So, you know, it helps me prioritize. You know what I mean? It helps me prioritize. God, why didn't I think to send this into the, I don't know why I didn't send this print to the black and white exhibition in Madison. It's a photo I took of the shop at Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum. I don't know why I didn't think to send that. That would have worked so well for what they were looking for. Oh well. Yeah, right now, if you're curious as to why I'm AFK on Minecraft, I'm looking through my current photography folder on my Google Drive, and I'm trying to look for what I photographed at Tybee Island, because I photographed most of the outkeep of the lighthouse grounds and its outbuildings, including the keeper's home, at least on a external level. I don't think I'll be able to model everything, nor will what I model in Minecraft be accurate, but it'll at least give me a general dimension I can work with. Because the home, like every other building, has had extensions and whatnot added onto it over the years. Okay, I think I may have to go digging through my other folders for what I'm looking for. Let's see here. Well, hang on now. Oh wait, no, this is all Florida and the Bahamas. I forgot about this. Yeah, that's all Florida and the Bahamas. First trip to Titusville. And my first visit back in Folkestone and Callahan in a good while. Around 10 years, actually. Or, well, technically 9 years, because we went in 2024, but that's beside the point. Point is, I was able to revisit a lot of this. I forgot to send this to the guys in High Iron. It's a little ACL shop switcher. I forgot about that. Whether or not there's blueprints of a similar model, I don't know, but who knows? Alright, I'm going to have to go through my photo files. I don't know why I'm saying photo folders. I'm losing my mind. I have to do that anyway since I'm actually having to get videos uploaded. Which reminds me, I'm sure you guys are wondering why there's so many Minecraft videos showing up on the channel. The answer is that my friends and I have sort of gotten a building spark in the server where we all have the same idea and we're all wanting to execute it while we're thinking about it. Let's see. Main photo archives. You can tell I haven't been up long. If you're curious as to why it's so dark in here, it's because I have my blinds drawn. It's because of it being so hot. I'm going to open them up now that the sun's moved. And as you can tell, I haven't been up long. Maybe about an hour or two. Best. That's another way you can tell if I'm stumbling around and falling. Yeah. It's just what happens when I get willed to. I don't have much energy. There we go. Okay, I don't need that. File Explorer, would you please work? Thank you. Thank you. Move all of you to the archives. Move that to art archives. I think Series 7 was the one that had the lighthouse. Yeah, because that was the... Yep, this is it. This has the photos of Tommy that I'm looking for. There we go. There's Tybee Island Light. And there's the keeper's house. It's two of the keeper's homes, actually. Yeah, there was the keeper's house, the assistant keeper's, and then the storehouse, if I recall correctly. I have more in-depth photos, that's what I'm trying to find. Yeah, here we go. I'm mainly focusing on building the oil house and the keeper's home. Okay, so there's a two-story. So it's a two-story home with an extension off the back. I'm gonna have to look at this in Google Maps. Speaking of photos being used, an artist friend of mine actually used some photography I sent them. It was only two photos. A photo of a Hartwell Railroad GP9 and a CSX bridge over the Etowah River. They were needing some railroad reference material for a piece they were doing, and they were kind enough to use it. So to the artist, thank you for using my work. I just hope what I sent was easy to draw. The reason I sent the bridge and the specific bridge and locomotive photos that I sent is because both of them were designs that I thought were rather easy to draw or easily drawable. Because, with a deck girder bridge, it's literally just a rectangular bridge with just slots going down the side, and then with the GP9, it's just, again, a rectangular body with a triangle end on each end. Other than that, there's really nothing hard to draw. It's certainly easier to draw than, say, an F unit, and especially when it's just like the side profile, even more so. I'm trying to remember if I have more photos of the lighthouse. I don't know if I do. No, I don't. Okay, well, that's just great. I thought I had photographed all of the outbuildings, but I guess all the growth they had in terms of trees and whatnot on the grounds, I think that sort of messed up what I was trying to draw, I guess. Or not draw, but You know what I mean. I think it messed up what I was trying to photograph, but it's fine. It's no issue. No issue at all. Sorry, I'm tired. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go into my archives for this. Or not archives, I'm gonna have to go to the Google Maps. And if this yawning continues, I'm gonna be muting my mic and turning off my webcam. Because I don't want y'all to have to be made tired from watching me fall asleep on stream. There we go. There's the outbuildings. Okay. Yeah, so there's the. Okay, so I'm in Google Maps. Yeah, so it's a rectangular property of land. There's at least. Just excluding the lighthouse, there's 7 outbuildings. Plus the lighthouse, there's actually 8 buildings in total. Yes. Oh yeah, I forgot. They have the car garage as the gift shop. Hmm. There we go. Yeah, there we go. There's the head lighthouse keeper's home. Okay, so there's... Alright, so it seems what I was trying to model is wrong. Why do I say that? Well, simple. Stupid thing. There we go. So this here is wrong because the actual house's foundation is tall enough to have a crawl space. I had completely forgotten about that. Although, we can say that this house is... We can also say that... I don't know what they're doing next door, but it sounds like they're ripping the whole house apart. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this home just not have the cellar. Like, I'm going to exclude that. They must either be moving in or what. I don't know. Now, I will say, if I build these in our survival server, the materials used are going to differ greatly from what's built here. The design will be the same, it'll just use different blocks. It'll use whatever is more available or more on hand. What I'm doing here is building the porch. There's a porch on each end. I'm actually going to mimic the porch design I did over here. Where it's going to use the trapdoors. I'm actually going to try and do the porch this way so that it's easier to... my mind is failing me. There we go. That really helped get rid of lag. Yeah, I'm going to be doing the trapdoors like this to simulate the decking. Although, now that I realize that they have visible slats, Now you got the visible wood decking with the nails holding all the boards down. And unlike the last porch where I'm using fences, I'm actually going to use gates. And since the chimneys and other brick is painted white, I'm probably going to try and do either diorite or andesite for that. Hello, who joined? Is that you, Henry? Oh, hey, Henry. I'm in single player right now. I'm doing good. I'm just, having single player, waiting for, yes. Waiting for Seal Shark to get on. Though I understand, I have no idea when that'll be. There we go. Okay, so there's the back of the keeper's house. I'm looking at Tybee Island Light Station in Google Maps. So there's 3 chimneys, of course. So because brain work. Yeah, so there's 3 chimneys on the keeper's house. This is because, well, they didn't have electric heating back then, so you had to heat your home with fires in the winter. And I think the back extension actually was the old separated kitchen, if I recall correctly, but I don't remember. Let me see. There's got to be more photos of this. Oh, there we go. There's a drone shot that shows the grounds, which is good. Okay, no. So I was wrong. So the keeper's home does have what I've got. Okay, that makes me feel better. And It's got white painted brick, so I'm going to change, in light of this, and since I now know what I'm looking at, I'm going to get that and replace it with diorite. Mainly because diorite's the only thing we have to painted brick in the game. Though Murphy's Law, now that I say that, there's probably going to be proper painted brick. And I'm only going to change the stuff that's visible, so there we go. I'm trying to remember, wasn't there a wood block that was white? Yeah, pale oak. There we go. There we go. I was trying to remember if there was a pale oak wood. Okay, so it's white wood siding with gray trim and black window shutters. Okay. And with the real Keeper's Home has a shingled roof, but in this case, I'm gonna be using a copper roof because that's the only metal roof variant in the game. Until they add maybe like tin or something, because tin roofing was also used. Tin or metal roofing. That's the only metal roof that holds up. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, so there's the head keeper, first and second assistant keepers' homes, fuel storage building, the auto shop, and then the other building, which apparently they cut the plaque off, so I can't see what's on the bottom. Hmm. Hmm. Well, the only good news is since all these lighthouses are still standing, if and when, God forbid, the grid ever fails, at least these things will still be able to be powered by flame or something. Who knows? Hmm. Let's see here. Let me see here. Hmm. I'm just thinking if all of us ever start another, if all of us started another Minecraft survival series in like another world, I think a lighthouse station would make for a great base because you have essentially three homes for three different players, or three families in the lighthouse station's case. And it's like the perfect grounds for a base. I mean, here, I'll send an overview of the site from the top of the lighthouse in No Mic. It'd be the perfect coastal base, and it would fit right in. Because, see, you have the head keeper's cottage, first assistant keeper, second assistant keeper, two outbuildings for storage, room for gardens, the lighthouse itself, and the a garage area could be turned into like a minecart thing, you know? It'd be the perfect coastal base. But since there is pale wood, that means I can go and replace all of the wood I just put down. Let's see. Yep, there we go. Because they don't have a grayish colored wood that could be used as like trapdoor material. So I think I'll leave the porches as they are, but the rest of the home is going to be changed up to reflect the new wood type. This is, I think, the first time I've ever built something using pale oak. Only trouble, we'd have to deal with a little entity known as the creaking. The creaking. Oh, this also gives me a chance to change out the brick here. I completely forgot about that. There we go. And unfortunately, there'll be no way to replicate the gray trim, but what I can do is all of this. This is one reason I'm glad I didn't completely do the fencing right away. Thing is, we've never actually I don't think we've actually ever found a pale oak forest in the main Minecraft world. Now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever seen one. interesting thing is going to be trying to build the second floor of the house, because I've actually been to Tybee Island Light Station. I've actually been a few times. It's a 2-story home with the main rooms, particularly upstairs, being rather small. And the bits over each of the porches is actually attic and storage space. I believe, if I recall, yeah, the head keeper's home, it's just a sloped roof. The main issue is going to be building that front-facing window. I don't know how to do that, and I haven't figured out how to do that yet. It's a pretty house, though, I will say that much. Excuse me. Let's see here. I wonder, let me get copper grading. Let me see what that looks like. And I don't actually... Yeah, there we go, wax copper, great. Because I think this is going to be the only way I can actually replicate the actual brick vents they have under the house. And that was essentially, when living on an island, that was your air conditioning back then. Thank goodness copper is such a readily available resource. There we go. What I may do here is I'll actually go and replace these as well, just for good measure, because these have a more realistic screen mesh to them. And since the fuel storage building was also painted white, and likely made out of tabby, the old Georgia Coast version of concrete, or actually the old coastal concrete of choice in general, I'm going to rebuild this with diorite, mainly the walls. Here's a good before and after for comparison. And since we don't have red doors in Minecraft, I may actually change this to a mangrove door instead. Because that's really the only red door we have. And the funny thing about the storehouse is it doesn't have windows. And if it does, it may only have just this one small one here in the back. So I'm going to blank these up. And if you're going to and you're probably asking me where did they get light from? Well, simple, lamps. They would have had lamps, oil lamps. They would have had oil lamps for the lighting until electricity came along, which was likely in the 30s. So I'll use a lantern as a stand-in for the whatever lights they would have used at the time. Electrically, of course. Something, and actually I don't know if Minecraft will ever see this, but I'd love to see them add Georgia pine as a wood type, because I would imagine that would be the wood type that was readily available on Tybee Island. That or live oak. Either way, both wood types would have been more readily available for use on the islands and the coastal regions, I'm sure. There we go. Put a lantern there, a barrel there. What else do I need? Oh, I know. I'll put a spare bulb there, two types actually, to simulate the lenses. I'll put like the spare lens glass there. Because that's the thing, when you're on an island, especially back in the days before there was a road getting to Tybee, you'd have to have spare parts for almost everything. And I'll actually even put a bell, like a spare bell, just for the heck of it. Because you'd need some way to sound through the fog if you ever lost power, because, you know, if you don't, you won't have a foghorn. Let me see here. Let me see. We don't. There is no. Yeah, there's no gray wood type. While I'd love to see that, I don't think that would be possible. Alright, and since the doors are white, I'm gonna try and let me see, what do we have? Even though, since the door has the iconic plus shape, I'm gonna use this type of door here. It's not white, but it'll do the job. And then if we look at the front of the house, which as well as the back, it's got two windows flanking the door and a set of pane windows above the door. So I'm gonna do this. Again, this is not by any means an accurate representation and or replica of the home. It's just going to take some design cues from it. Simply because in Minecraft, due to the scaling being bigger, you can't add as much detail. Now, if I were building this in Stormworks, it would be different. But I don't actually think they have a lighthouse beacon block. I would actually love to see that. I need to make a list of like a sort of suggestion thing they could do or that somebody could mod for Stormworks. I know I've said in a few streams in the past that tinted stained glass would be a neat thing to have in Stormworks. I think it's stained glass. I don't remember what else I added besides that. I just know it related a lot around glass. Let me see. Speaking of glass, I love they consider the glass block a colored block. I'm going to assume that it was a shotgun style cottage, meaning you had a clear hallway going right through the middle of the house to help with airflow throughout the building during the summer. Jimmy Carter's childhood home was built like that, believe it or not. It was built as what's called a shotgun style house, where you have a central hallway going through the home, and your rooms would be on either side, like two here, two here. Now, I know this is actually starting to look more like the assistant keeper's cottage, which is fine because, again, it's not meant to be a 100% accurate replica. Besides, I really don't know how I would build the extension on the back. I just know that's the kitchen, so that doesn't exactly have to be built accurately. Because this is one case where accuracy is not really the goal. More a loosely inspired. I think the term loose inspiration is more fitting here. There we go. Now, I will go on and say that the interior of the house is going to be a lot different from what's there in real life, simply because those who built that cottage actually knew how to cram a lot of stuff into a rather small amount of space, which is good. And what's amazing is, despite all the stuff being crammed in, it's actually still a very livable home, believe it or not. But in this case, there's going to be 4 rooms. I'm just trying to think, because the inside of the house is actually rather impressive. I can't describe it. I've been there, but I can't describe it. Huh. Well, now there's a building I don't recognize. I'm looking at a black and white photo of the, I'm looking at a black and white photo of the lighthouse in its earlier days. And what's interesting is it was painted white at the bottom and black all the way up to the top. Interesting. There was also some building directly across from the actual lighthouse. I don't think that's still. I think that's been torn down since that photo was taken, because I don't see it. It looks almost like a block house or a block building, but I can't see it in any of the newer photos of the property. Yeah, no, I think it's gone. Whatever that was gone. Oh, well, I'll be damned. There's when the homes were being built. I'll be. There's where the original lighthouse was burned during the Civil War. I miss being able to go down there. We used to go to the beach every summer, and now it's like I haven't been able to go down in 3 years. Oh well. I don't know why the YouTube uploader thing is going inactive. I don't know why it's doing that. Given that the size of this home is going to be making what I want to build rather restrictive. Let me see real quick before I go any further. See, this is the thing with Stormworks or other games like that. You can actually build a proper, detailed home pretty much using what you have available, and you can actually do a lot of really intricate detailing. Mainly because you have more room. You got. I hate when my brain doesn't work. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't speak straight anymore. There was a term for these windows that I no longer remember. Now this is one case where if I rebuild this, there's going to be a 3x3 filled area here so that the walls will be centered. But for the case of this build, this is fine. In fact, I'm actually debating on if I want. I'm currently deciding if I want to make the actual. I don't know. There we go. I'm thinking of making the inside a different color than the actual outside of the house, because I think you know what, forget it. Each room of the keeper's home was painted, or at least I think it was painted. I don't know. Let me go back and check. Yeah, like the main kitchen of the house, for instance, it's got a sort of chalky green color. Yeah, there's like a sort of light green base for the kitchen, but then gorgeous beadboard wood for the upper walls and ceiling. I just don't remember if that's pine or oak that they used. Either way, it's really pretty, so I may use that. Whether or not I'll use that as a basis for the entire house, I don't know. Because that's actually spruce. Yeah, because spruce is the only wood that has that color. Hmm. And I'm using that as a base. And we don't have, there's no way to get that sort of light green color without waxed weathered copper. That's about the closest thing that that's the only block that comes close to matching that color. And even then, it's not accurate by any stretch of the word. But this is a good case of making do with what one has. A good case study, if you will. Now, if you're curious, I have it that low because the ceiling is going to be up here. In fact, actually, if I demo just this block layer here, it should work rather beautifully, I think. There we go. Since it has that gorgeous wood color throughout the rest of the ceiling, I'm going to bring that to the forefront here. There we go. Ceiling. Other rooms. Now, for a home like this, you would have storage almost everywhere. So that hence this. Now we have the second floor. Since the heck, actually, yes, since the home is going to be the heck's going on here? There we go. So, given that the house is going to start to taper in at the roof line, I'm actually going and making this. I'm actually going to try and attempt this, though I have no idea how successful this will be. Okay, so. Again, this is not going to, this isn't going to be accurate by any means. I just want to stress that. So there's the roof line. I'll add windows later. Right now I'm just getting the overall roof laid out. There we go. Although, if we were really going to be technical, and since, let's see, I'm going to use deep slate tile stairs as the shingles. We're going to be real technical, since the house does use the area directly over the porches as attic space. Well, why not use it why not use it as such? Now, if you'll note, I haven't added any external details yet. That's because I want to focus on building the house first. I'm actually going to do this first and foremost, just so I can get a idea of how the roof is going to look. Because this will also dictate just how I want this thing to look, because it's gonna come up at a point. I always knew it was gonna do that. Well, I may have to change this now. Hmm. 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 I hate to say it, but I believe I am in a dilemma. Hmm. Well, I think I'm actually going to pause this, or well, not pause it. I'm going to end this, and I'll come back to this sometime later, either today or tomorrow, after I've done more research on how to do the roof.